people? It's your girl Adeola. So my people, have you all been following the missing Nigerian oil money? Many people don't even know what I'm talking about right now. But you guys remember that last year, the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Lamido Sanusi, disclosed in a letter to President Goodluck Jonathan that more than $49 billion oil revenue was missing. 49 billion. I mean, unaccounted for. That is what I should say, because it's not as if we don't know where the money is. Anyway, but after series of meetings, they decided, oh, not that much is missing, that is just a few billions, which is what Fela called government magic, by the way. Well, now the CBN governor is insisting that at least $20 billion is still missing. But a lot of Nigerians don't care. It's like nobody is demanding accountability and life goes on. How much is that? Call it over $20 billion. Oh my God. 3 trillion. We're talking about 3 trillion, 266 billion naira. My people, that is a lot of... In case you don't know how much that is, let me help you. Do you know that if we are spending $50 million on one hospital with modern equipment in Nigeria, you know that with this missing money, we would build 400 modern hospitals of international standard in Nigeria. 400! That means that each state of Nigeria would have at least 10 good hospitals of international standard. They may not be as big as this, but at least they'll be better than any of the hospitals that we have right now. People won't have to travel abroad for medical treatment anymore. I mean, think about that for a minute. Think about what life would be in Nigeria if we have 400 of good hospitals like this all across Nigeria. Even Mama Peace, who died and resurrected 7 times in Germany, according to her own testimonial, she would have resurrected only once in a good Nigerian hospital. I'm telling you, because Nigerian doctors, they only have to do it once. But even if we don't want to build hospitals with that money, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a high-speed railway in China known as Haikoi Soya. I don't know if I'm saying that right, forgive me. But this rail line covers a total distance of 300 kilometers. And the trains run at about 250 kilometers per hour. So in 1.5 hours, they get from one major city to another major city, 300 kilometers in 1.5 hours. Now, the railway was constructed in 2010 with $3 billion. 3 billion. Don't forget that we are missing $20 billion. That means that if we decide to use this missing money to construct modern railways in Nigeria, we should have at least 6 high-speed railway systems across Nigeria with this money that is missing. I mean, am I making sense? And please, I'm not talking about the locomotive that they are building right now, the one that Labaran Mako is very excited about. No. What is this? The devil is a liar. I'm talking about real trains with internet facilities, with food service, the trains that look like you're in a plane. Do you know that Abuja to Lagos is only 535 kilometers? If we have high-speed railway like this one, that means it would take less than 3 hours to travel from Abuja to Lagos. Less than 3 hours. Just think about how easy life would be. And if we have 6 of this, which that money can afford, you can go from Abuja to Jos in less than 1 hour. That means you can go from Enugu to Benin in less than 1 hour. My people, you can travel from Kotangora to Mino in less than 1 hour. And you'll be very comfortable. That is what I'm trying to explain in terms of what this money can do. As a matter of fact, China has built another railway that travels 300 kilometers per hour. But we won't talk about that today. So let's just assume that we don't even want to build railway lines right now in Nigeria. You guys know that University of California recently built a new campus in a city called Merced in Northern California. Now, the total construction cost for that campus is $500 million. 500 million. I mean, it is big. It's very modern. It's eco-friendly with all the resources that students need. It has good housing facilities. It's a beautiful campus. I'm telling you. And I'm very sure that we'll have Nigerian students studying on that campus right now. And it cost $500 million. That means that with this missing money, my people, if they just use that to build us new universities in Nigeria, $20 billion, that means we would have 40 beautiful campuses like this one. 40 of them. You know how many states do we have again? 36 states. Even if all they did with this money is to set up scholarship program for Nigerian students to come and study in America, if they give each of these students $150,000, 150 for 4 years of tuition and living expenses, do you know that this money would sponsor more than 130,000 Nigerian students? 130,000. That means that from each state we'll be able to sponsor more than 3,000 students. You know, one of those students may be you that is watching me, or your brother or your sister or your son that could benefit from this money. And lastly, if they decide to use this money to fix our electricity problem, you guys remember the mega dam that Ethiopia is constructing, the one that I've talked about, the one that is big enough to power the whole of Ethiopia and neighboring countries, that will generate up to 6,000 megawatts. Well, the construction cost is $4.8 billion. Yes, they are spending $4.8 billion to construct that dam. Now, with this missing money, if all we do is to work on electricity by constructing mega dams like that of Ethiopia, that means we will be able to have at least 4 of this kind of mega dam in Nigeria. 4 of it. My people, right now we generate between 2,000 to 4,000 megawatts of electricity. It goes up and down. You know, in August of last year, they said it then dropped to 2,000 and something. Imagine what life would be. 6,000 times 4, that means we'll be generating 24,000 megawatts of electricity. We won't have to lose power ever again in Nigeria. If we are managing 2,000 to 4,000 megawatts, what would happen when we have 24,000 megawatts? You get what I'm saying? These are some of the things that this missing money can do for us in Nigeria, and I hope that you start caring, because this money is your money. Yes, it is your money. It is the money they made from selling our own natural resource, crude oil. I'm trying to say that the same way that people in Dubai are enjoying their oil money, you know, that is what they use to develop their country. It is the same way that you as Nigerians should also be enjoying your oil money. Nigeria should be well developed by now because we have the money. The money is there. You get what I'm saying? Yes, it's just that it disappeared in the hands of a few people at the NNPC. Madam, under your nose, 20 billion unaccounted for. God damn, you get what I'm saying? By the way, do we still have a finance minister? This woman was Harvard trained. I don't understand what is going on. She has worked at the World Bank for decades. How come so many things are not transparent? Madam, what is going on? Because I don't remember the last time that she held a press conference. Ideally, as a minister, you're supposed to be taking questions from journalists periodically about where we are, how much we have, where the money is going to, you know, but all she does is release a press statement from her office. I mean, why? If I'm releasing a statement about my performance, there's no way I would write something bad about myself, right? So why should we just rely on the statement that she's releasing from her office? Why can't she have a media chat like Mr. President did last year, remember? And then whenever journalists write anything that she doesn't like, she would respond to the report. Why can't she just have a media chat? I saw the 50 questions, by the way, that the House of Rep asked her. And to be honest, there were questions that should have been asked a long time ago, before we got where we are right now. And all Nigerians deserve to know the answers to these questions. In fact, if there has been transparency, they won't have to ask some of these questions, you know? Yet, the House of Rep said she ignored many of the questions. She refused to answer. But what pains me is that many Nigerians think that asking questions is an attack on Madam Ngozi. I mean, look at this comment that I saw online, you know. They should just leave this woman alone. Hapa. They're trying to make things so difficult for Nigeria just because of so-called politics. She has been trying so far for Nigerian economy. May Almighty God protect and give her more courage. You see, my people, in other words, we should not ask questions about our economy. If we do, we are just trying to make things difficult for Madam Ngozi. And I'm sure that he's not the only one that thinks like this. My brother, this is not about Madam Ngozi. This is about the future of our children, the future of our nation. How do you run a country like that? We don't know exactly how much we have. We don't know how much has been stolen from us. We don't know exactly how much is being stolen from NNPC every day. We can account for billions of dollars and we keep borrowing billions of dollars from China. Do you ever wonder where all the money is going to? You know, whenever I'm going out, I know exactly how much I have in my wallet so that I don't buy things that I can't afford. It's common sense. And I always know how much I have in my bank account. But we run a country like it's no man's business. And to be honest, Madam Ngozi is not acting like she cares right now.
So let us get up and dance to Madiba. Come on.
to play that video. Don't mind him, Jerry. That was Madam Ngozi dancing on TED, by the way. That was after CBN reported that we were missing about 40-something billion dollars. You get what I'm saying? By the way, Kwaledowo, did you notice the song she was dancing to?
See this baby, then I'm saying she must chop my money, chop my money, chop my money, cause I don't care.
Did you notice? No people talk chop my money. I don't care. I care. If anybody chop our money in Nigeria, we care. You know, maybe that musician knows what he's doing. My brother, you are too smart. I like that song that you played. Me, I'm not saying anything. All I know is that twice now, Madam has told the House of Rep that she's sick, so she can't appear. The other time, she came and then she said she was sick. Eventually, she talked. And then last weekend, she said she was sick again. And they keep telling us that the Nigerian economy is now one of the fastest growing in Africa. How come the minimum wage is still 18,000 naira? That is what I don't understand. Our economy is one of the fastest growing. How come gas price is still so high? When will the common people feel this economic growth, you know, on our tables? And you know, this is Auntie Ngozi's second time getting us back into debt, the same debt that she was paying years ago. All I'm saying is that if we don't care now, with such amount missing, my people, the day will come when hundreds of billions of dollars would disappear and we won't have anyone to hold accountable because a lot of these people will be gone by then. Already we've lost hundreds of billions of dollars since independence. Then it would be our children that would have to pay the price for whatever they leave behind. But you guys know that I don't know anything. All these calculations, I mean, it's just my little girl's calculation. You get what I'm saying? You can go and do your own calculation. I don't know anything. I'm just keeping it real. And speaking of Nigerians attending schools abroad, I'm so excited about this next story. It tells you what could happen when young, creative people have access to the right resources, especially if they want to invent stuff. I'm talking about a Nigerian man who had dreams to be a car designer. And then he came here after studying in Nigeria for several years. He enrolled back in school in a car design school. Today, he's no longer a young man, of course. I'm talking about Mr. Jelani Aliyu, who is living his dreams in Detroit, Michigan, working for one of the largest automobile industries in the world, General Motors. Aliyu was born in 1966 and he's originally from Dogondaji in Sokoto, Nigeria.
A lot of people wanted to get into car design, but there were only a few spots, so you really had to be one of the best to get in there. And the competition between the students was really stiff.
When he came to the US, he not only excelled in school, but he later designed Chevrolet Volt electric car. That's among other things that he designed, by the way.
Every designer at General Motors was given the opportunity to design that car. And all the designers at General Motors, not only in the United States, but in Britain and Germany, submitted ideas for this project because it was considered so important. And the fact that Jelani's design was the one chosen out of maybe 200 submissions from all the designers at General Motors speaks volumes about his potential.
Go, Nigeria! Go, you know! I am so proud. Can you believe that's a beautiful design? And that was about 6 or 7 years ago. Don't you feel proud to be a Nigerian? But you know, of everything that he said, this is what touched me the most.
There's so much potential in Nigeria that really all the people from Nigeria living outside the country should really contribute to the development of that great nation. Each time I think of Nigeria and the potential that exists, the potential in the people, the potential in the land, it's just mind-boggling what could be done. Together, Nigerians everywhere can really make a big difference and make Nigeria one of the best countries in the world.
He is so right. There are so many Africans doing great things abroad. African doctors and nurses in so many American and European hospitals. So many African scientists in the US and in Israel. Nigerian engineers and designers. But you know, I believe what we need in various African countries is the right resources so that we can be having groundbreaking innovations and inventions in Africa as well. Not just when we come out here. You get what I'm saying? We should be making aircraft by now in Africa, especially Nigeria. Remember all the stories of young people building planes in their backyards that I have talked about. Several people. If only these people have the right resources, like Jelani did, and they are supported by the government and private sectors, by now this would have been a booming industry in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, one man in Zimbabwe was ready. He was ready to start manufacturing helicopters. He wanted to start a helicopter factory after making one for himself in 1994. Take a look.
We're standing here today with Flight Lieutenant Sabanda, the man who made his dream come true by building himself a helicopter. Flight Lieutenant, I need to know some details about this helicopter for the international public. Where did you train in aviation?
I trained in Ethiopia. I was trained by the Russian instructors in Ethiopia in 1978. I did to an extent, utilize this. For example, my structural base, that is the structural base is based on the Apache. Just talking about the structural base, that is the setup. You see, we have got some helicopters with their tails coming off at the back like that. This is my overdrive position, which is up there. By this time, the aircraft will be complete. That thing will be complete right on top.
I'm trying to stay positive, my people. I'm trying to look at possibilities in this story. And Colonel is laughing. It's not good, though. It's not good. God is watching you. The only thing that is distracting me right now is the yellow suit that he had on. I mean, seriously. If the helicopter is yellow, why must your suit? I know why Colonel is laughing. I think it's because of the blades. You don't have faith in those blades, just because they are red. Shame on you. Personally, I love the man's confidence when he was explaining his invention.
Just talking about the structural base, that is the setup.
I just wish he would fly the thing. That was all. I was waiting for him to fly that thing. He never did. But on a serious note, if Africans can develop a mechanical and engineering sector, we should actually be leading the world right now. Not just in Zimbabwe and Nigeria. This is a Kenyan man who has built more than 10 aircrafts. 10 aircraft in his backyard. 10. Although none of them flies, but he keeps building. That is to tell you the talent is there, the creativity is there, the gift is there. And what we need is the right resources. Unfortunately, it is mostly those who travel beyond the shores of Africa that are able to achieve their invention dreams. Do you know that Jelani himself had been designing cars for years in Nigeria before he came to the US? And if he had remained in Nigeria then, he may never have achieved his dreams.
I've always loved cars since I was a little kid, and my brothers and dad also loved cars a lot. And I love drawing, so I thought I'd put the two together to really go into car design. And as you know, there's nothing like that in Nigeria. Actually, in the whole of Africa, there's no car design. So I had to go outside Nigeria to study automobile design.
You see what I'm trying to say? Very recently, a 20-year-old boy in Delta made a drone, and the thing actually worked. It worked. I'm not saying that the one that Mr. President commissioned doesn't work. I mean, it's just that they didn't test it, so we don't know if it works or not. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying they didn't test it. But this boy tested his drone. He tested his own drone and it worked. Everybody was amazed. He had a huge crowd. People gathered for them to see how the thing would work. Only for Nigerian policemen to come and arrest the boy for causing traffic jam. Can you believe this policeman? Do you know that the policeman collected money from that boy before they released him that day? A 20-year-old boy testing his invention. They collected money from him. They said he was causing traffic jam. Can you imagine? Yes, of course. The crowd bounced on the policeman for that stupid move. You can read more about his story. His name is Adeola. I'm so sorry if I didn't pronounce his name right. And he said that he's never been to school. So he made that thing just from his head. A lot of young people are inventing things every day, but you don't get to hear about many of them because it didn't materialize or they were never encouraged. Like that boy by now should have been picked up by the government. They should have sent him abroad for training or something. Lastly, if you get the chance to train abroad, please, my people, don't forget to give back. I've shared the stories of so many people that are going back to Nigeria, back to different African countries to give back. So please, let's continue to do so. And if you know somebody that is giving back, please let me know so I can give them a shout out on this show. And guess what? I'm just keeping it real. And speaking of Zimbabwe, the drama keeps getting more and more interesting. Do you know that you can now use 8 different currencies in the Zim? Zimbabwe. What is going on, Mr. Mugabe? Which one you did now? If you remember, several years ago, the Zimbabwean currency was hyperinflated. They were printing out billions and trillions in Zimbabwean dollars. So everybody started carrying big bags of money because almost everything cost millions of dollars. That time, a loaf of bread was 550 million Zimbabwean dollars. Can you imagine? Sure, you remember? So, of course, it was so ridiculous that they had to get rid of their own currency. Then, 5 years ago, they adopted American dollars and South African rand. They adopted Pula from Botswana and British pound sterling. And you know, I have to give kudos to Zimbabweans for spending 4 currencies at a time. I would be really confused. I can barely figure out Naira. You get what I'm saying? Apparently, they've gotten along well, you know, with the 4 currencies. Although, a friend of mine from Zimbabwe was telling me that when he went home, because he lives here in the US, that when he went home, whenever he wanted to buy something in Zimbabwe, he would give them American dollars. And then because they didn't have quarters, they didn't have change, there is no quarters, he said instead of giving him change, they would give him a condom. I said, why condom now? Why would I give him condom? What if I'm a Christian sister and I'm not thinking about things like that and they are giving me condoms instead of giving me change? What do they expect me to do with that now? Anyway, but you guys remember that last year I was telling you that they ran out of cash. In Zimbabwe, banks were running out of cash. So now the Central Bank of Zimbabwe has decided to add 4 more currencies to the circulation. As if the 4 they have right now is not enough. Now they are adding Australian dollars. They are adding Chinese yuan, Indian rupees, and Japanese yen. 8 currencies in one country alone, and none of it is your own currency. Mugabe, you have really done it in Zimbabwe. I'm telling you, there's a problem right here. A big one. Because the exchange rate of all these currencies are different. Yes, how will people catch up now with how much each currency is worth at any given time? I'm trying to withdraw my money in euros and they're trying to give it to me in South African rand. No, there's going to be a problem. Somebody will go down. There's going to be a fight that day. I guess the taxi drivers will now have to be saying to their customers the kind of currency that they want before you get in the car. Either way, there's going to be a whole lot of confusion. But you know what troubles me the most? Is that of all these new currencies that they are adopting in Zimbabwe, Nigerian Naira is not one of them. Nigerian Naira, I said, how could you overlook the giant of Africa? You just pass us like that. Going to Australia, going to Japan, you can adopt Naira now? Yes, the giant of Africa. Once you have Naira, you don't need all of these other currencies. How much is $1 to 1 Naira now? The ratio. You sure? Is that bad? My people, forget about everything I just said. But you can always come to Nigeria for, you can come for parties, you can invite our musicians, we are very good. And you can always watch Nollywood. You get what I'm saying? Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Kenya, I saw the video of a woman with no arms taking care of her baby and doing everything that people with arms can do. This will really inspire you.
Uwezo wake Miriam Jeru wa kumlea mwanawe utakuwa cha umedua na kukosa tamko. Mtoto mwenye umri wa mwezi mmoja. Swali ni je, sha mwanawe pia katika namna anavyokunja nguo za mwanawe.
Na feel vizuri sana. Simeona hata sina house girl kwa nyumba na mimi umanage. Imagine huwa na manage. Afu mtoto wangu mimi usema ni God given kwa sababu huwa anajua tukua na yeye. Nyanyonye siwezi toa ball. Mimi nitazaa mtoto wangu afadhali nikule shida na yeye.
Umakini wetu unaelekezwa upesi katika namna anavyotumia miguu yake kuandaa chakula. Bila shaka anavyokatakata vitunguu, nyanya na bila kusahau anavyowasha hata jiko lake. Yote ni ya kupigiwa salale.
Sasa nina swali.
Vitendo vyake vinazidi kutuduaza anapotuonyesha namna yeye hufua nguo za mwanawe.
Babake is very good, ako so much cooperative. Anakuja jioni the first thing aoshe mtoto. Alafu nifue nguo anianikie za mtoto.
Do I need to say anything else? I'm sorry that I don't know exactly what she was saying, but my Kenyan friend told me that she said people told her to abort the baby, but she said she refused. But you know, whenever I see something like that, I'm reminded that I have no excuse in life. No excuse. I would love to see her live in a better house and see her baby get the best education there is. Seriously, she has really inspired me. I hope that today that you'll be inspired as well. Kudos to that sister. And in Nigeria, a woman is now running for governorship election in Lagos State. Yes, yes. I'm talking about the wife of the late Chief MKO, Adeola. And I know that it's only a matter of time. Someday we'll have female governors in Nigeria and female presidents. And whoa. Please, some of you don't have faith. What is that I'm hearing? Don't you guys know that whenever you are watching this show, and you make comments, I can always hear you guys. I can hear you. I can hear Tubasun in Oshogo saying that this can never happen. Tubasun, I can hear you. But it will happen someday. Be careful what you say. I can hear you guys. And I had some of you complimenting my dress. Thank you. It's very nice, I know. But as I was saying, it will happen someday. We would have women in power. But not only that, all these changes that we are advocating for in Nigeria and in different African countries, all these changes that I'm advocating for, I strongly believe that someday they will happen. And guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Before I read emails today, I'm sure that you guys have been following what's going on in Syria, with more than 2.5 million people displaced since the war started and over 130,000 killed. Even though it's not in Africa, these are our brothers and sisters, and that's why we need to care about what's going on. Well, despite all the killings going on, I saw a video last week of a miracle, that's all I can call it, that took place after a bomb went off and knocked down a building in a place called Aleppo in Syria. Take a look at what happened.
شباب ارجعوا فوق يا شباب
موسى جوك بعد انا شوي يا موسى
شوي يا شباب
ميه يا شباب بس طمعت ميه الواحد بس كاسه الصفرة درجة الدرجة على اجرى يا شباب طلعت
I was like this on my chair when I was watching it, and then I got up, I was like, oh my god, he's alive, thank God. Isn't that wonderful? You know, that just made my day, and I thought about sharing it with you guys so you can continue to pray for peace in Syria. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Our first email today is from a proud father named Mike Mamuzo, who wrote me saying, I thank God for my daughter Bianca, who made first class honor in her first degree examination in microbiology in one of the leading universities in Italy. I'm highly impressed because it's worth celebrating. Oh, congratulations, Bianca. Yes. I'm not sure if you're aware that your dad wrote me about your performance, but he is so proud of you. It's not just your dad. We're all very proud of you. Thank you for representing and making us all so proud. And if you guys can see, she's not only brilliant, she's beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. Beauty and brain. Yeah. Go sister. We are so proud of you. Our next email is from Jane, a Southern Cameroonian residing in the US. She says, I'm so proud of the wonderful job that you've been doing. Congratulations for talking about La République du Cameroon. I hope I said that right. I know that the situation is complex in Cameroon, and my thoughts are with my brothers and sisters in there. Keep sending in your stories. Oh, thank you so much, my sister from Cameroon. I really appreciate that. La République du Cameroon, is that right? The next email says, hi Adeola, I'm a Gambian and I like to remain anonymous. Okay. But I like to tell you that in Gambia, Justice Emmanuel Nkea is a rotten egg that needs to be exposed. Wow. He claims to have a master's degree through distance learning from a South African university, but the school on its website says they do not run distance learning programs. What? Somebody is lying? Is that what you're telling me? There are other explosive and shocking findings, by the way, some of which are that the infamous judge did not even attend a law school. Wow! My people from Gambia, is this true? Is it true that he probably didn't even go to law school? Please let me know. Let me know. Our next email is from Matthew, and he says, "Hi Adeola, I need your help on this issue. Is there anybody called Nigerian Maritime Security Agency in Nigeria? Because some group of people are collecting money from unemployed youth, promising them job opportunities in this agency. They said that their office is in Benin and they have oriented some people for weeks, asking them to be waiting for call-up letters for 6-month training under the Nigerian Maritime Security Agency." Well, thank you so much, Matthew, for writing. I did a little research. I went on their website and they wrote specifically on their website that they do not solicit money from people looking for employment in their agency. So no, they are not the ones collecting this money from people. I've been hearing about this case. Some people are going about disguising themselves as officers from this agency and they're collecting money from young graduates that are desperate to find employment. Sometimes they collect 10,000 naira from each of these young people. Can you imagine? In fact, I've heard about people paying up to 70,000 naira because they want to be employed, and then these people will stage a fake training for about 2 weeks for these people after they've paid, and then they will tell them wait for call-up letter in the next 6 months, and then they will leave that city and go to another city to deceive more young people. I know that a lot of people are desperate, especially after waiting for years, but please, my brothers and sisters, if anybody is telling you to pay them before they will employ you, that should be a sign that this is a scam. The person that will employ you should be able to afford to pay you, not you paying them before they even employ you. Please run away from such. But thank you so much, Matthew, for writing me about this. And that's all the time that I have for emails today. Please keep sending your emails to adeola.keepingitreal@gmail.com. Alright, y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out.